Hey Ken, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Dan. How about yourself?
So today we are going to be talking about getting X-ray vision. This sounds like a superhero movie. What's this all about, Ken?
We're going to find out really soon. Let's go.
What the topic of X-ray vision is to me is seeing through things that are presented to you on their face value. And so I want to share with you guys a little bit about how I have not had this skill. And even if I had it a little bit, I haven't used it well. And something you may or may know about me, but it's in the title of this podcast, which is "And the CIA" or "In the CIA." So I come from the background. I'm the CIA guy, right? So I'm the guy who gave polygraph tests, lie detector tests to people in very serious situations. And so you'd think of all people who could see through deception, see through things that are meant to give you a false hope or to make promises they can't keep, that I'd be really good at that. But I'll tell you right now, I fall victim to it all the time. It's incredible to me how I have to remind myself, like, wait a second, you have a skill here. You have a skill to be able to better look at and assess credibility and know when something is too good to be true. And yet I get caught up in the excitement of like, this is going to be amazing. I love it. And I get caught up in all the marketing that goes into it. So I have fallen victim to this, it seems like over and over and over. And I will genuinely say that only in the past year or so have I been more attuned to scrutinizing and taking a little bit of extra time, even giving myself a rule of like, maybe I pause for 24 hours before hitting buy now, right? Because this is exciting to me and I get caught up in the excitement or the emotion of it. So I give myself that little pause and then I do some additional digging to find out, is this what it's all cracked up to be? And I use those skills that I've honed over the years. So hopefully we'll give you some of that good ability today, but I need to share with you guys, I wish I was better at this. I'm working hard at becoming better at it now. And we'll give you some of those tools today.
So I'm right there with you, not in the CIA, of course, but I've been leading people to the promised land for 3,000 years plus. And you would think that I would have that skill set as well. And yet, Dan, just like you said, there's something about these formulaic marketing efforts that almost feel like a cyclone. Those long form emails, you just keep reading down, reading down, reading down, and you start to see yourself in them. They're effective they're effective and they're formulaic for a reason, and that is that they work. And so what I've been trying to focus on is, if I'm going to step into something like that, to step in with realistic expectations of what I think I can get out of it. Is there going to be valuable content there? Is there going to be a valuable technique? Is there going to be information that's going to open my eyes to seeing things through another lens that I didn't look through before? So it might be worth doing. But what I found myself falling prey to is thinking that this is going to take me from 0 to 100 miles an hour overnight. And I've not found that to be the case.
And I think the reason that it's so easy to fall victim to this is because anybody who would fall victim to this typically falls into a bucket of people that are willing to click on the initial video, the initial webinar, the thing that, like they see a headline and they say, well, that's interesting to me. So the type of person who would even click on that to begin with or schedule themselves to go to that webinar, they are looking for something. And they've probably read a self-help book before, or they've probably read some sort of thing about the topic that they're clicking on this link for. And what they've heard time and time again is, we, the person marketing this, we're going to turn decades of our experience into just days of training for you. So what are we trying to achieve? We're trying to accelerate our results. We are literally trying to get exactly what this cliched term says over and over, like decades of experience. I've been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And I've learned all the pitfalls and the hardships and the bad things that happen. So I'm going to give that all to you so you can do everything I've done, but you don't have to go through the hardships and the pitfalls and the experiences that I did for these decades. You can learn it all in days, and then you can just skip over that step. What we're really doing is we're falling victim to, I think, the oldest trick in the book. And the oldest trick in the book is that there is a quick fix. One of the terms that I really love is the term life hack. I am all about this. I am constantly looking for shortcuts, tricks of the trade, ways of doing things better, more efficiently. But what I've learned, I'll say this is my lesson number one of this thing, is if you can accept this, we're going to skip over a lot of the rest, which is, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. In my first book, Is He Lying to You?, I told people, trust your gut. You have that feeling like, that, I don't know, that seems like, wow. And you probably have the right feeling there. So trust your gut. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is, because here's the answer. There are no quick fixes. There are no things that you can do that are going to really turn decades of experience into just days of training that you participate in. I wish that was true. I've been seeking this out, I feel like, for 4 decades, and I've never found it to be true. And in fact, I've had the ability to see behind the curtain of some of these amazing achievers that are providing this information. And I wish I could tell you, oh, the grass is truly greener. What I saw was just this remarkable human who is now living their best life. When in fact, what I see is a human who may have a bigger bank account than me, or a human who may have cooler toys than me, but really they face each day with the same level of, they have to go through life in the same way. So if we can just start with accepting there are no quick fixes, there is no shortcut on the road to success. Because if there were, I'm telling you, I would have found it. And I would tell you the link right now that you could go to and click on the buy now and get it right now.
I think we'd both do that. And we would, of course, own the website that the link went to so that we could profit off of it. But not only are there no quick fixes, and not only are there no shortcuts to success, I'll go a step further and say you wouldn't want it. Because my experience, and Dan, your experience, and everybody who's listening, their experience is unique. There's no such thing as being able to take somebody else's stuff and literally just transfer it to your life and make it work. And why would you want to deprive yourself of the life experiences that you learn on the way? Why would you want to deprive yourself of making a mistake? Because out of that mistake comes some absolutely amazing realization that you never, ever would have discovered before. Something that in and of itself may take your business to a level that you could never have imagined, or that may open your eyes to a new way of doing things, or may make you decide, you know what, I don't want to go down this road, but there's another road I do want to go down. And so I would say to people, not only to your first point, no quick fixes, no shortcuts, but it's okay that there aren't. And in fact, it's really good, because your own experience is going to be the best teacher, 100 times better than anything you could get from any program out there. Don't deprive yourself of the experiences that you can have along the way, the successes and the failures. They're going to be your best teachers, and they're going to lead you to true and satisfying success.
Well said. I totally agree that I still want it, man. I want the quick fix. I'm telling you, it's a daily struggle for me not to be enticed by a book title. I'll see the guy out on his book tour, or I'll see a program and that guy being interviewed for his program all over the place. And sometimes, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm guilty. I'll just like that same person who I saw interviewed on this show, then I'll watch him interviewed on another show and another show. And I'm looking for something like, they're going to give me this secret. Maybe I don't even have to buy their program. They'll tell me the secret in this interview. And then I can skip a step right there, because they're going to reveal to me this secret sauce, this secret formula. And I'm telling you, it just does not exist. I totally wish it did. I still have this, like, I hold on to some hope that it exists there, and it doesn't. One recent example is there was a company that I do business with, and they were running online ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, etc., social media ads. And they were not getting the type of results that they expected. And what they told me was, we're confused because we're running the exact same ads as this other company. Call them a competitor, call them the company they modeled themselves after. And when I dug a little deeper, I found out that that company that they were modeling themselves after spends $1 million a month on social media marketing. And so it seems logical, right? Like, I'm going to do what they do and I'll get the results that they get. But if you use just that simple example of advertising dollars spent, they were spending $1,000 a month. This company that was complaining, the other one was spending $1 million, 1,000 times more. I think that's 1,000 times more. Yes, 1,000 times more than them. They are literally a drop in the bucket, as people say, right? There's just like a tiny thing. So how many times are they in front of their target audience? How many times would they get noticed compared to the people who are doing 1,000 times more than them? So the point is simple, that even if we could just extract out the secret sauce out of what this person has been doing for decades, and then we could duplicate that exactly like they did, what we're ignoring is the decades worth of social equity that they've built, right? What does that mean? People already know them. They already trust them. They develop relationships with them. They usually become the go-to person. So I can't just do what they did and then jump to their level. Some people would even hear what I'm saying now and they go, oh, no, I figured it out. I won't have the expectations to jump to their level. I'll just have the expectations to be 1,000th as good as them. And it's like, I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. It's amazing how I'm not dissuading you from saying there's good in this, and I'll talk about the good in just a moment, but please understand, if it worked, that you could just do what they do and jump to their level, I'm telling you, that example I just gave of advertising online would work the same way. You could just do what they do and you'd be, boom, you get the same level of response they get. But it doesn't work that way because you're just a drop in the bucket, the same way you are in the experience bucket. When you start doing what these people have done for decades, you are just a drop in the experience bucket and the social equity bucket that they've gained over those years of experience.
The social equity thing is a fantastic example. And I would also talk about brand equity for companies that have been around for a while, that they have built up equity in their brand, in who they are as a company and the promise that they deliver, and people know them. And there's something incredibly valuable in that. The name carries weight, the mark carries weight, a tagline carries weight, all of those things, they become associated with the product or the service. And you can think of any number of brands like that where the brand name actually becomes the thing. A Kleenex, it's not a tissue, it's a Kleenex. Like, they actually own that. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of brand equity. There is no way to just import that overnight. That is millions and millions and millions of dollars. And that is years in business. And that's careful marketing and advertising strategies and 100 other things that go into building that up. So that's one point that I just think is so important. The second thing that you can't do is you can't import another company's culture. You can't import their people. I talk about culture from the perspective of, based on our values, how we do work. That's just the way we do work here at Acme Company. That's the way we do work here at, whatever it happens to be. And that work gets done based on these complex interrelationships between people. And the values that a company has are unique to them, even if you have the same values, because they get lived out in different ways by the leadership and by the people who work there. And so, just to your point, Dan, to try to take a process and just shift it over into your company and think you'll get either the same results or results at some measure less than, but still results that mirror the company that was producing that particular process, is not going to happen. You can't have it because you won't have that same kind of equity in your company, and you can't have it because you simply can't transfer culture. you're going to have to develop something unique to you and unique to your company's culture that's going to allow you to thrive.
I totally agree. And again, what I'm trying to do here for all of you is I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you money. There is nothing in this moment that I have to sell you. There's nothing that Ken has to sell you. Now, again, if you go to our websites, we might have stuff to sell you. But in this moment, for this podcast, we do not have stuff to sell you. And in fact, if I said anything, I'd say, don't buy whatever people are out there selling. Please don't buy it. An example is, you will commonly see, we'll stick with this social media marketing idea. So what tags along with the moment you say, I'm going to do what that big dog out there does and advertise like them. Well, then you think, what else do they do that I need to do? I need to get a funnel system because I'm going to get leads from this advertising I'm going to do on social media. And then when the leads come in, oh, I need a call center. What if they call a phone number? I need a call center. What else do I need? I need something to I need a website or at least a landing page. Well, and then obviously there's going to be so many leads that I need people to follow up with them. So I need a funnel system that does automated emails back to them. And then, you can just keep going down this train of thinking, right? Oh, I need some sort of mailing, like email service so I can send out mass emails to these people. You get it, because you guys have all heard this. If you're listening to this right now and you were interested enough to hear about this topic, I'm telling you, you've been down this road. I've been down this road. Ken's been down this road. People we coach have been down this road. And the best advice I can ever give them is, you know what? That will all be there when you need it. That will all be there when you need it. Oftentimes we spend more time preparing because we bought in completely to this original idea. We watched that original, not infomercial, but let's say webinar nowadays. We watch the original thing and we're like, you know what? I'm clear on my goal. I want to become like that person. I want to be playing at their level. I want to be doing what they do. So I need to be fully prepared. I need to do everything that they do. So they not only invest in, let's say, the initial program, they invest in all the tag along features, all of those things that I just talked about. Please, one encouragement I'm going to give you is pause. Maybe give yourself that rule. It's like, before I make any decision, even decision number one to invest or not invest, let me give myself 24 hours of further maybe evaluation, maybe contemplation, whatever it is. Just like give myself a little breather, maybe get out of that emotional state where I'm feeling excited about this and pause. That alone will help you save money. But two, please don't buy all the upsells. Don't buy all the tag along products. Don't do any of that stuff, because that stuff is available to you when you need it. And I'm telling you, you will not need it in early days. In fact, you may never need it. But when you do, it'll be really easy to go buy whatever products I just talked about. And then that'll make whatever you're doing more efficient. So just pause and don't buy the upsells.
Okay, the pause is key, right? Because those kinds of marketing emails only work because they build speed. You're reading along, you see yourself in it. Normally this is worth X amount, but today, for a limited time, we're giving away this month, giving it away for this much. Oftentimes there's like a clock ticking. Here's how much time you have left. If you click off the site, I actually saw this on American Express's website today. Shocked me. There was like an offer for an American Express credit card, and they were going to do some bonus points for your first $5,000 of purchase. And a little thing flashed up and said, if you click away from this website and come back, this offer may not be available. And I thought, man, that's nothing that I expected to see from American Express. It just felt off-brand to me to do that. But Dan, to your point, it is about the speed and about banking on the fact that people are not going to pause. They're not going to take a breath, and they're not going to step back, give themselves 24 hours and say, let me take a look at my business. Just a really cold, hard, objective look at my business. What do I really need right now? What's necessary right now? What's the most important thing that I could do right now? It probably is pick up the phone and call a prospect, or pick up the phone and call a current client and make sure they're satisfied so that you can keep them on board. It's probably not invest in one of these hundreds of programs that are out there. And I think the thing that we miss in thinking about this is if we took the time to consider it, and then after that period of reflection, after talking with a trusted advisor or a coach or a spouse, somebody that you really trust around this, you still thought, nah, you know what? I may not jump to that level, but there is stuff in there that sounds valuable to me. There's just some stuff like, this is going to be like a good library for me to acquire. And I'm willing to pay the $497 or the $1,997, whatever it happens to be. I'm willing to pay that to acquire this content in one place at one time. I think that might be good for me. That's a very different decision from, if I do it now, baby, I'm on easy street. This thing is over. And so I think your point about taking that pause, taking that breath, stepping back, taking an objective look at things, and then making a conscious decision that's informed by fact and not by emotion is the best thing that somebody could do.
Challenge scarcity. Challenge scarcity. Scarcity comes from it's a commonly used term. I have a degree in marketing, so I heard it there, but a lot of it comes from a book. It's an awesome book. It's called Influence by Robert Cialdini. And he talks about key to influence is to create scarcity. So you see this, I think it's overused and it's falsely used. And I don't like that people don't come from a place of integrity when they're using it. Now, scarcity exists in some areas, like in real estate. There may only be one house in that neighborhood for sale. And if you don't buy that house, then you don't know when another house may come for sale in that neighborhood. That's real. That's real scarcity, right? There's only one, and whoever gets it, gets it. But in the terms of digital products, which we're all living in today, I'm telling you, there is no scarcity. In fact, in that example Ken gave of, if you click off, you may not get this deal again. I challenge you, challenge scarcity. Here's how you challenge it. Click off and you watch, because they're smart marketers. You bet you a pop-up comes up and says, hey, before you leave, I might give you a better deal. How many times have you all been through this situation where you want to cancel a service? You're like, I'm not really using that and I'm paying a monthly fee. I'm going to call and cancel. And they send you over to those well-trained retention people. What they are is just salespeople. And they're going to make you some great offers, a discounted rate to continue with their service, free months, et cetera, et cetera. They know what it takes to get you into what we teach in Polygraph, which is called short-term thinking. Scarcity just gets you into short-term thinking. And so if you want to get anybody to do something they wouldn't normally do, you have to make them think in the short term and not let them think big picture. That's it. That's literally what we would do. If I had somebody in the room, we call them a subject. The subject's in the room. They've previously withheld information, and I need to get them to tell me something they didn't want to tell me. I need to get them thinking about the short term, because the short term in their mind is, do you want to be done here today? Like, would you like to leave the room? Would you like to conclude this interview, whatever, even though it's an interrogation? If you can get them thinking about, yes, I would like to be out of this room. I would like to complete this interview. I would like to be out of here. Then they're more likely to tell you, because you're connecting that by telling me this, you can leave the room. But what they didn't think about was the long-term picture of, yeah, but once you tell me this thing you were previously withholding, you might go to jail. That's a big deal. But I'm not letting them think about the big picture. I'm letting them think short term. So please, this pause is huge. This taking a breath, this challenge of scarcity. Most scarcity is invented. To get you thinking short term is a strategy. It's a tactic by marketers. So you're not thinking big picture. You're not thinking about the credit card bill that's going to arrive in 30 days. You're not thinking about how you're going to be able to pay that off. It's easy though when they can tell you, hey, you're going to make so much money in this, that won't even matter. And you're thinking short term, like, oh yes, this sounds exciting. I'm caught up in the moment. So please challenge scarcity. Allow yourself that time to have big thinking, long-term thinking. Think down the road what things will likely be like and not best case scenario be like.
So it's a great point about short-term and long-term thinking. And I think that's one of the missing pieces, right? Is that I'll speak for myself. when there were those times that I didn't have a big picture vision, I wasn't holding it firmly of where my company was going and where I wanted it to go and how I wanted it to grow and what I wanted it to be about, those were the times that I was most likely to look for a quick fix. I got to get something. I just got to move things forward. Or this will help take me to the next level. And yet when I reflect back on it, that time would have been really well spent if I would have hunkered down with my mastermind group, or if I would have sat down with my coach and would have said, let's just talk through my business over the next, year, 2 years, 3 years. Where do I see it long term? And where am I now relative to where I want to be? And what's the best strategy for me to get there? How can I think that through? And then to be able to evaluate any and all of those other opportunities in the light of that strategic plan, in the light of strategic long-term thinking. Are there things that could now fit in here that are going to help move this plan along? And that's when you make really good choices, because it's based on strategy and it's not based on of the moment emotion that says, if I do this, again, I'm on easy street. It's done. I won't have to worry about a thing.
During a coaching/consulting call that I had last week, to stay on my topic today of generating leads through digital marketing, through social media marketing. This person, we had this conversation. This is a real client I have that mentioned they're spending $1,000 a month. And when we dug deeper, realized that the competitor/model company was spending $1 million a month, right? 1,000 times more than they were spending. When we dug a little deeper, it's like, why do you want to do what they do? It's really simple. They just want more leads. And I get that. You want more leads. So, but again, we're looking for these shortcuts of like, well, they get a ton of leads, so I just want a piece of their tons of leads. There may be, to speak to what Ken talked about with strategy, there likely is, and we were able to identify what this was for them, there likely is a better use of your time and money and investment, because maybe your industry or your specific example, maybe it's not meant to be like your lead generation system is through social media marketing. Maybe what you found success for in the past has actually been through creating new relationships. Maybe it's through cold calling. I don't know, because every industry and every business is different. But in this specific case, what we were able to identify was they had a bunch of existing relationships that they weren't nurturing, they weren't reaching out to. And we identified that would be a much better use of their investment of time and money into utilizing and nurturing the existing relationships versus trying to find what they thought was an easier, quicker, better fix. So sometimes it's taking that pause and then maybe seeking out an advisor, somebody who can help you see it better, have that X-ray vision to go, no, I see inside your company now, and I can see the things that maybe you're not seeing because you're it's hard to see inside of yourself, and to know that what you're seeking, I can help you find it, but it's not through the means that you think is going to get you there. It may be a different approach, a different strategy.
It's dead on. And I think, it'd be great, I think right now, because we've talked about a lot of different things, but I keep feeling like we can distill this down into just like a couple of key things. So Dan, I want to put them out there and then have you add on to anything that you think that I missed or anything additional that would be helpful. And the first thing is that notion of strategic thinking. Think long-term, get with people you trust, and lay out a long-term vision for what you're up to. The second thing, recognize, like we said at the beginning of the conversation, that there is no short-term fix, that there is no easy way to get to where you want to go, and that's not only okay, but that's good. Because what you're going to learn along the way is going to teach you far more than you could ever learn by just trying to grab onto what somebody else has done and repeat it. The third thing is to recognize that there's no way that you can replicate what somebody else gives you. You're different, your company's different, your company's culture is different, the people that you work with are different. It's just by its nature going to be different. And then to Dan's great point about taking a pause. Before you consider signing up for something, as you feel yourself getting like caught up in this kind of a cyclone, which these sales emails can feel like, step out of the scarcity mindset, realize It's going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be there the next day. Take a pause, take a breath. Again, talk with a trusted advisor and take a look at what they're offering in light of that long-term plan that you have, and ask yourself the question, is this going to serve me? Because it's really there to serve you. The answer is yes, that's great. Sign up. But the answer is no, walk away from it, knowing that when you do need it, if you do need it, it'll be there.
I want to really stress that there's a lot of good left in what sounds like we're trashing here tonight, which is I look at these programs, I look at these courses, I look at these books, these things that are sold with these big promises, and it's easy to dismiss them and go, well, what do I do now? I just never participate. I just let them go. I ignore them. I'm against them. I'm anti them. It's like, no. Just like you could read a biography of a person who's achieved what you perceive as greatness or something you look up to. There is value in a course where they say you can turn decades into days. It's just like reading a biography of someone who's achieved something. You're going to find, I use the term golden nuggets. You're going to find that thing. It's like, that's a great idea. I like that. That's something good. The thing I'm trying to tell you is, please don't create expectations that you're going to move quicker. It's going to be easier, and you're going to be at their level much faster than they got to their level. Reality says that you may get to their level. Probabilistically, you won't, but you may. And if you do, it will probably take you a very similar amount of time that it took them to get to that level. And the stuff you learn from them in that course or in that book maybe saves you some time. But in the end, it's still going to require you to put in all of this work and to do the things that they did, maybe in a different time period now, maybe a completely different environment, maybe a different industry. So there's still good in it. Seek it out, because at minimum, it's putting good thoughts in your mind. It's reminding you of what you want. It's giving you some sort of ideas or framework for what to get what you want. But in the end, you still have to be willing and expect to put in the work and spend the time, and you can have exactly what you want.